Time now for this week's guest, making a welcome return to the Empire Podcast. One of the greatest, brightest, most brilliant and consistently inventive and versatile directors on the planet. The man behind Hard 8 and Boogie Nights and Magnolia and The Master and There Will Be Blood and Inherent Vice. And now this week's Phantom Thread. It is, of course, Paul W.S. Anderson. No, it's the other one. It's Paul Thomas Anderson. And he dropped by last week to talk about his latest and, it would seem, last collaboration with Daniel Day-Lewis, who is retiring to watch Countdown and go down to the post office on his afternoons off. Very, very sad. Anyway, PTA talking to John Nugent for your listening pleasure. Enjoy.
We're delighted to have Paul Thomas Anderson on the Empire Podcast. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well. First of all, I guess congratulations are in order because this week you had six nominations for Phantom Thread?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Did you do anything to celebrate? I mean, how do you feel about Oscars in general? Are you
fantastic?
Yeah.
That was an exciting thing to wake up to. I told my kids, I said, we got 6 Oscar nominations, and my daughter said, can I have a spoon for my cereal? And that was it.
Yeah, you move on.
But we had some champagne later that night, and it was fun.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Did you speak?
I mean, honestly, it's so... You have to act cool and pretend like you don't care, but inside it's just like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's no two ways about it. Did you?
But it's funny because I mean, we've done I think pretty great stuff before, and it doesn't get it, and then you go, oh well, I guess nobody's paying attention, or I don't know. You have to celebrate, but you have to, you know, as long as you don't make a habit out of making it epic, then it's okay. Yeah. I mean, it's all quite silly in the end, isn't it? Yeah, but it's fucking great.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Did you speak to Daniel and Leslie and
I haven't seen anybody yet. I mean, a couple quick texts, but actually I'm going to see everybody later today.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's talk about Phantom Thread then. It is something of a break for you. It's the first film you've made out of California, I believe.
Yeah.
Is that something? Is that out of your comfort zone in a way?
Well, sure. But it's funny how quickly, you know, we started shooting here a year ago. 30 seconds into shooting, we were shooting tests over in Fitzroy Square. Just like 30 seconds into it, it was all exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's like there's some lights, there's some guys working the lights, there's the camera.
Yeah.
And it was so no matter where you go in the world, it's kind of the same exact thing. But I loved working here. And that has to do with the people that were on the crew, who I'm going to see tonight. We're having a cast and crew screening, which is crazy because the movie's been done since November, and normally you do that back when you finish it. But for all the travel arrangements and but so I'm going to see so many familiar faces tonight. I cannot wait to see so many people that I haven't seen since we finished in April. We're going to get really drunk. It's going to be really fun.
Excellent.
Yeah. We purposely didn't have any interviews tomorrow.
Okay, that's
like,
good. Okay,
you can't have the cast and crew screening on a Friday night in central London and schedule interviews at 9 a.m. on Saturday. Forget it. That's fucking horseshit. It's like, you need to have nothing to do the entire rest of the day.
Yeah,
it's going to be really fun celebration tonight.
Nice.
Yeah.
So tomorrow is a lie-in and...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because, I mean, we haven't known, it's going to be, I mean, if our rap party was any indication of how everybody likes to go, this one could go deep into the night. Could be really good.
Awesome. So it's the end of quite a long journey, really. I mean, any film with Daniel in particular takes a lot of preparation, I would imagine.
For sure. Yeah, he's nothing if not prepared, and that is where the majority of the work happens. Because once you start shooting, it's really kind of, I don't want to say easy, but so much of it is preparing and talking about who this person is and what's going to happen, the possibilities of what could happen, that once you start, it really becomes, there's no long-winded discussions about what could happen. It's really the small decisions each day. What color socks you're going to wear, what tie, wardrobe decisions, because all the real meaty stuff has been decided already.
Yeah.
But
it's interesting you say it's easy, because I'm sure I read somewhere that Daniel described the shoot as
it's not easy. That's probably
in relative terms.
I mean,
maybe.
I don't know. It's easy now.
Yeah.
You look back and I don't. How hard could it really be? Really,
it's not down to mine, I suppose.
It's not fucking. That's not that fucking hard.
But I did hear that the shoot is quite a challenging one. You're in a very claustrophobic space. You're in a real old London townhouse.
Yeah. It was like I would walk to work a lot of days, and it was beautiful. You get a beautiful morning, and then you get to this front door of this house and look in and go. Like holding your breath, like you're going underwater. It was very cramped and very claustrophobic, and everybody was on top of each other, and that's okay. That was just the nature of working in a Georgian townhouse with all the limitations and things that created. But we asked for it, and I think we got our money's worth. Though it looks really good. You get, I guess the alternative would have been to build it, but that didn't sound like fun either. Yeah, I mean, then you I don't know, then you walk out and you're on a back lot somewhere, and no, it was more fun to be in central London and cramped and claustrophobic spaces than anything else. Yeah.
Did you feel you got different sort of performances than you would if you were on a soundstage?
I don't know. Probably not. I probably would have ended up being exactly the same, but I think what you get is a lot of little details that you wouldn't have gotten, like just the way the floorboards creak, the way that the handles on the doorknobs, the way things sound is probably the biggest thing that you get that the greatest sound designer in the world couldn't come up with. You'd be manufacturing stuff and you'd be off the mark somehow. So, and the other real thing was life outside the windows, which on a soundstage you would have to. Normally people would do a green screen or a backdrop or something like that, but we actually had Fitzroy Square right outside there, and you put a few people in hats and costumes and have them walk around and stuff, and it just that is a kind of an extra layer of reality, or pretend reality. Yeah, that makes it look good.
So Reynolds Woodcock, what is such a good name? Am I right in thinking Daniel came up with the name?
Yeah.
I mean, where did that come from? Where did he pluck that from? Did you have any rejected names?
Arthur Dapple was the name. I got to look back at my notebooks. I'm completely blanking. There was I think the Reynolds part probably comes from Reynolds Stone, who was he did fonts and wood cuts. Funny enough, the font for the film's a Reynolds Stone font.
Right.
So I think the Reynolds comes from that. Fucking good name.
It's an amazing name.
It's very English.
Yeah, that's amazing that he's come up with such a key part of the film. Is he a collaborator at every stage of the process?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I don't know. You can't work with Daniel and expect him to just sort of turn up and what you want and why everybody wants him is a proper collaboration in every respect. This one was different than the last time we did it because with Daniel Plainview, you had, or that film, you have everything was very practical. The needs of looking for oil was the only thing that mattered. So this time, everything was about personal taste and choice and the theater that this character is creating in his workplace. Right. Yeah. So, thank God for Daniel sort of picking the drapes, picking the wardrobe, everything. He worked so closely with Mark Tildesley, our production designer, and Mark Bridges, the costume designer, to meticulously comb through every last detail. This is why the film looks so good. I mean, I honestly don't have the patience that they all had. So I would kind of be involved, pretend that I was not glazing over, but at a certain point I was like, just tell me when you picked the fabric. I can't. I fucking can't.
You're not much of a seamstress yourself, then?
No. I have a short attention span, too. So.
Yeah. But did I read that you had real seamstresses on camera?
Well, some of them are actresses who have a lot of sewing experience, and then others were proper seamstresses. Nana and Biddy, our two lead head seamstresses, are worked at the V&A, or they're volunteers at the V&A, but they had worked for Hardy Amy's back in the day.
And you can really tell as well. I mean, they
right.
They look like they know what they're doing.
Yeah. And their fingers, you see it in the shape of their fingers, and the way that they hold these. Yeah, there's no faking that.
Yeah,
they're amazing. I haven't seen them since we finished shooting. I'm seeing them tonight, hopefully.
Are they going to be the last one standing?
Yeah, yes. It's funny, Leslie told me she ran into them like a month after we finished shooting, and they were wondering where the film was. They're like, well, what's taking so long? what I mean, literally a month after we finished, they expected it to be finished and in the theaters. What's he doing? What's taking him so long?
They're working to
That's my English accent.
Taylor's schedules, I guess. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
they didn't. Yeah.
But I know it's sort of sold as a romantic drama, this film, but I was surprised perhaps at how funny it was. Mm-hmm. I mean, is it a stretch to call it a comedy? Would you go so far as to call it that?
Yeah, I would. I love that. I mean, but I'm the wrong person to ask. I thought Inherent Vice was a comedy. I think a lot of people would disagree with that. But could you get away with calling it a romantic comedy? So that people would say, like, it doesn't really fulfill that in the way, like.
I mean, it is romantic and it has comedic elements.
There you go. So it's a romantic comedy.
I think you could say it's a romantic comedy. It's
historical, romantic.
Yeah.
English comedy.
I mean, it's not quite Richard Curtis, Hugh Grant. I don't know if people go in expecting that, they may be.
That's what they expect when you say romantic comedy, probably,
exactly.
Right? So then they'd be pissed off and disappointed that it didn't fulfill that expectation. But then if you went in looking for some Merchant Ivory action, you'd be disappointed too. I don't know.
It's its own beast, I suppose.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I've spent the last 2 weeks with Johnny Greenwood's soundtrack in my ears. Literally every day I've been listening to it. It's been the soundtrack to the last 2 weeks.
That's fucking cool. That's great.
It's amazing. It's really amazing. What is it like to sort of commission someone like Johnny Greenwood for your own personal music?
You just made me think of the best story I had recently was a friend of mine texted me at 7:30 in the morning on a Saturday in LA, and she was getting her coffee at this place, and they were still opening up the shop, and the two guys that worked there said, one guy said to the other guy, "Is it too early for the Phantom Thread soundtrack?" And the other guy said, "No, turn it up." That made me so happy to think of that. It's funny. It's because it is good walking around music.
Oh, it really is.
Yeah.
Honestly, you go to a supermarket and suddenly you're feeling all regal and lavish and just like everything. You're just floating.
You know, we're doing a score.
I'm going to be there. Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be special.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. Yeah. I've never done. We've done it for There Will Be Blood, but there's sort of a different feeling this feels different. Like, this feels fresh.
Yeah.
Properly, like, I don't know, something could really go wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's an old school. I'm interested what your brief was for Johnny, because it's such a sort of
lavish. I just told him, like, Nelson Riddle and make it lush and make it romantic, you know, and that was the stuff that I kept pushing for, was like, bigger, more romantic, more romantic, which is good because he doesn't like to do that. So
yeah, it's very unlike anything he's done before, I'd say.
Yeah, but that's good.
Yeah,
it's good. Can't just keep playing the same old sad shit.
Play the hits. Yeah.
Yeah, his instinct is like, why don't we make it smaller and sadder?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Let's try to make it bigger and funnier.
Yeah. I think that's all the time we have, but Paul Thomas Anderton, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks.
Thank you.